Hello, I am Deke Cateau, CEO of Rhodes, a nursing home group in Atlanta, Georgia, and proud members of the Eden Registry. Today, I'm going to discuss the three T's of truth, transparency, and trust, which you see displayed behind me. They are by no means new concepts, but rather have been long-held principles of leadership, business, and public relations. Our ongoing global pandemic, however, has certainly highlighted its importance to our industry. It has been challenging to say the least, keeping up with the conflicting information coming from local, state, and federal agencies during this pandemic. And it is not surprising that there's a lot of public mistrust. That is not something that you or I can control or fix, but we do have some control over the public's perception of our industry. We know that nursing homes and other senior care providers have a long history of being heavily scrutinized. COVID-19, though, has put us under an even bigger spotlight, and we have garnered more attention than ever before. That attention is now coming from beyond our normal immediate stakeholders of our families, our residents, our staff, and our regulators. Rather, now we've been thrust into the center stage of this pandemic, and the public at large is watching us. When one is under so much scrutiny, a natural inclination might be to clam up and say nothing. However, the only way the public will trust us is if we commit to truthfulness and transparency in everything we do, whether it be good or bad. Our reputations and the reputation of our industry as a whole depends on it. Unfortunately, because of this pandemic, the truth hurts. We care for the most vulnerable of populations. COVID-19 has disproportionately impacted our senior populations. And sadly, many of our elders have died. There's simply no sugarcoating that. And why should we try to? We must be truthful about the harsh realities that we are dealing with and the extraordinary challenges that we face. And we must be truthful about the ways that we need to improve or the help we might need to improve so that we can better manage this crisis. But being truthful is not enough. We must also be transparent. Transparency implies proactiveness in sharing information. As a heavily regulated industry, we're used to mandates that make sure we share information. However, we shouldn't wait until we are told what and when and to whom to communicate. We need to anticipate questions, concerns, fears, and even rumors and address them heads on. Let's have our stakeholders hear directly from us before they find out later through some other means. And trust me, the truth always comes out. They will hear it from someone else, if not from you. Further, when you are the source of your information, you are able to shape the message and interpret it for our stakeholders, rather than leave it up to some misinterpretation by someone else. Being transparent in a crisis like this can be difficult because it opens us up to further scrutiny. But it's even more difficult dealing with the aftermath of withholding information that might incite stakeholders to become angry or distrustful when they see you in the news. We must be proactive with our information, especially in a crisis. Otherwise, you may cause irreparable damage to your reputation, which in itself can become a crisis. At Rhodes, our approach from the beginning of this pandemic has been to be transparent and frequent in our communications. Operations and communications go hand in hand. And when we deem an operational decision to be of interest or concern to family, staff, or other audiences, we communicate it. We continuously update our communications to evolve and to respond to operational needs and requirements. Like we always say, communication should closely follow operations. Additionally, two-way communication is critical. And as we receive feedback from our audiences, we update our communications to address their questions and concerns. And if we hear rumors circulating, we quickly address those as well. We try to make our messages clear, consistent, and tailored to our various audiences, and they are easy to access. We use multiple communications channels, including emails and text messages. And early on, we established a COVID-19 resource hub on our webpage, where information and updates are posted regularly and they are accessible to all. We know that even if we do everything right, we will still not be completely shielded from scrutiny. We've still appeared in negative news stories, and we've had displeased family members and staff. However, you can better and more effectively manage risks when you are proactively communicating, because then you don't have the additional burden of justifying where, why, or to whom you were slow to respond. As a result of this pandemic, we will all be held to a higher standard. We must establish a consistent pattern of honesty and proactive communications so that even when we face a negative situation, our reputations of truth, transparency, and trust will precede us. I thank you for tuning in to this Eden moment.